Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to some general readings for the total lunar eclipse, supermoon, blood moon, flower moon for 26th, 27th of May, depending on where you are in the world. Now it's for the sign that is in the title of the video. It's a bulk introduction as ever. There'll be a timestamp that I'll put down below because I would suggest watch your sun, your moon, and your rising. And if you only get to watch one of them, watch your rising. Now, as ever, there's a link in the description down below for a birth chart, so you can find out your rising sign if you don't know it. And as general readings and general YouTube readings, standard advice applies. You know, if it don't fit, don't try and make it fit. Don't let me make decisions for you. It's not so much, well, I suppose this one is a take what resonates, because normally I would say for my more specific readings, ask a question. But this time I'm using basically oracle cards, and it's having a look at what energies I think this lunar eclipse, or I feel, or I intuit, I suppose would be a better way of saying it, or what the cards think anyway, that are bringing to us to experience throughout the effect of this lunar eclipse. Now, sometimes that can be up to 3 months. I've got stuck in my head from somewhere. I think 3 months for a lunar and 6 months for a solar. However, looking at the symbolism and looking at the astrology of it, it looks like it's definitely a build up and a preparation of the solar eclipse when that arrives in 2 weeks, another 2 weeks' time. So I will be doing a show with astrologer David Fisher, looking at the astrology of this lunar eclipse, and also it's a full moon. So I will still be doing my full moon gods at play readings as well, where I will be looking also at the angels and demons and that sort of the symbolisms and the degree symbols of the lunar eclipse itself. Here, since it is a south node eclipse, that is also talking about letting things go, releasing, dealing with the past, all of that sort of stuff. So I thought I would have a look at the angel regarding the south node itself, which in this case is Menadel. But I also want to point out that this is under the influence of Neptune, 22 degrees Pisces. So under modern rulerships, it's happy, it's at home, it's at 22 degrees, it's a master number, giving it extra whammy. And have a look at Soul Garden Namaste TV, Serious Joy, sorry, on YouTube for more about step 22, as Kushwateki calls it. But this is conjunct Pallas, the asteroid Pallas, which a few astrologers have made something of. There's a great video. Well, there was a great note, but I'm sure there was a video about it. If I may suddenly think I'm imagining it, but about Neptune conjunct Pallas from Anastasia Cosmic Astrologer. But the one thing that I noticed that nobody else is talking about is that it is also conjunct the asteroid Orpheus. So Neptune conjunct Pallas is extra psychic whammy, extra psychic awareness, extra psychic atmosphere, psychically charged. It's also Pallas can be looking at the wise way to weaponize things. So I think we have to keep a very close eye on the media and see what symbols and metaphors and dreams and wishy-washy woolly ideas that they are pushing forward more and more and more in order to sway public opinion one way or another. Take that as you will. I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything like that, so I'm not listening to that sort of aspect of it. But when we look at the patent argument about the COVID vaccine, or we look at the various other economic arguments that abound on the planet, I wouldn't be surprised if something comes up. But with this also being conjunct Orpheus, now what do we know about Orpheus? He was a musician. and he descended into the underworld to bring back to life his lover Eurydice, who had been killed by a snake bite, and he braved all sorts of challenges and unfortunately failed on the last 5 yards. But there's this image of a descent into the underworld for heroic reasons. Now, a lot of the astrologers are saying that this is a letting go of past baggage. And to be honest, some of the degree symbols back this up. But with Neptune and Pallas together, we are able to dive into our own personal underworlds, Orpheus, and note those ideas and beliefs that have been used against us, even if it is us using them against us. You know, standard counseling sort of philosophy of it's not so much what other people have told you, it's what you learned as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old that you have to deal with. And let's face it, a 4, 5 or 6-year-old doesn't always get things right. So it looks like it's a perfect opportunity to dive into all those sorts of issues. Now, the angel, as I said, for this is Menadel. Now, as a degree angel, Menadel represents fear or fearlessness, and inner and outer work. So those, if we descend into our own underworlds, get the teeth in, then that is inner work that can have an effect on our lives, on the outer work, quite dramatically, I would say, under this Neptune Pallas Orpheus conjunction, all being ruled by Menadel. Now, Menadel is about liberation. So again, there's that letting go. Freedom and work. Not freedom from work, but finding that work that is your great work, whatever your great work may be. It's associated with Mars. So there is all this diving into the underworld. It's not just to dive into the underworld and stay there and wallow in, oh, look, I've got this issue, and oh, look, I've got that. It's a dive in, do what you need to, get out again. Now, Menadel's also a guardian of some people born under the sign of Virgo. I've not got the degrees, but I've got the dates, 18th to the 23rd of September, traditionally. So I don't know if you have your birthday in that period, you may get a bit of extra whammy from this transit, purely from that angelic resonance. Now, the interesting thing is the Chandra degree, Chandra symbol or inside degree we have is icicles melting. And the description is soul timing, slow and formative, waiting for fullness and ripeness, outliving old stuck patterns by slowly wearing them out. Something that I think we are in the process of, certainly since last year and all the crazy astrology that we've been having since late 2019. Deep process, you experience lessons in humility and simplicity. An extravagant streak which relents only after relentless pressure. Now, can you see in this symbol, there's also that tension between the Saturn-Uranus square going on. The conflict and the attempting to balance the old with the new. In fact, it says, the next thing it says here is cross purposes. You have an attachment to personal inclination of the most stubborn kind, and yet a desperate drive to get beyond the shadow. Interior dialogue and dispute. I don't think this is going to necessarily be externally a dramatic full moon. With it, the normal full moon, if you worked in all sorts of jobs, you know full moon is always a crazy night. I think the eclipse aspect would hopefully calm that down a bit. Fingers crossed. But I think internally, it promises to be a doozy. The slow burning way and allowing pride to surrender without being made wrong. Elaborate maneuvers towards significant breakthrough, which backs up everything that I was saying. Now, the Sabian symbol. Now, here's a fascinating one. Let me scroll down to it to make sure I get it right. Where have you gone? Now, it's a flag turns into an eagle. The eagle into a chanticleer saluting the dawn. Now, I see that Saturn Uranus old versus new in that symbol as well. The eagle, although it's gone down, it was a symbol of Rome, it's a symbol of America. It's not the only country that has the eagle as one of its symbols. And it comes historically, if you like your ancient alien stuff, it comes from Babylonian times, and it was the symbol of Enlil. Where, if you like your ancient aliens, you'll remember that Enlil is the one that tried to bump us all off because we were thinking too much and getting too bright. And it was his brother Enki who managed to save more than a few of us. Enki, if you're unfamiliar with Sumerian myths, you can look at Enki in a way as being a cross between Poseidon and Prometheus, because Enki was the one who gave mankind gifts and theoretically created us in the first place, and so therefore we're his pets, and he wants us to prosper, and ignore all the weird power dynamics of that statement. So in the background of this strange allegory, we recognise the deep-seated belief that the American nation and its basic democratic institutions were constituted to be the cradle for a new step in human evolution. How ironic that Dame Rudyard would look at it that way. And under modern context, absolutely. Under your ancient alien context, gets a bit weirder, doesn't it? But then again, so if you're into your conspiracy theories, this is a great one. Because the keynote of this symbol is the spiritualization and promotion of great symbols of a new age by minds sensitive to its precursory manifestations. How apropos right now, when you have everyone talking about the new age of Aquarius, that I still say we're not in it for a few hundred years yet, but we have that Aquarian energy, we have that air energy from the new 200-year, 800-year Jupiter-Saturn Great Conjunction cycle that has now entered the element of air. So even to a point, and I suppose this comes from my more scientific past, I'm a stickler for going, we are not yet in the age of Aquarius, but it really doesn't harm to start believing that we are, because of the good sides of it, because our beliefs and our actions defined by those beliefs will hopefully bring around that Aquarian paradise that everyone talks of, rather than maybe a totalitarian state, which is the shadow side of Aquarius. But, let's not talk about that one. So, carrying on with Dame Rudyard's interpretation, the flag is the abstract symbol of the nation. It becomes an eagle, another US symbol, when the concept is made alive by bold and transparent action. I suppose that relates to what I was just saying about the whole Age of Aquarius idea. The eagle symbolizes spiritual will and the power to rise from the highest possible altitude to the highest possible altitude of consciousness and purpose. Flying at such an altitude, the eagle is the first living creature to perceive the rising sun. Now, that he writes more about this, but I don't want this introduction to be too long. But I have not yet looked at the chart for the solar eclipse, and let's face it, I rely on David for the more technical understandings of all that anyway. But it will be interesting to see what I dig up about Amael for the full moon gods at play readings. Other than that, you can ask a question before this reading. Here's your opportunity now if you want to. I'm not going to guarantee you'll get an answer because it's not necessarily that sort of reading. But I'll bring the cards up in a second. So if you want to, pause, ask your question, concentrate on it for a few minutes and start the video again. In the meantime, I'll bring up the cards. Okay, Leo, this eclipse, if you're Leo rising, is occurring in your fifth house: love, romance, creativity, creative projects. Um, but it's telling an interesting tale. We start with ally in disguise, discover the hard to find blessing, followed with light codes from the Sacred Spirit reading cards. Travel awaits you, but I think there's a form of intellectual travel here. And that ally in disguise makes me think that there is a wonderful new challenge coming for you, like you haven't had enough recently, Leo. I remember a few of your readings I've given you, but there is a gift in whatever this latest challenge that the eclipse brings for you is. It is something where you will be confused. It is something where you won't be able to see the point. It is something where you're like, what's going on? And so therefore you are forced to ask for help. It is something that you are needing to combat through eloquence, through debate, through epes here, or eps. Um, will give the magician quick-wittedness. And that is reinforced here by the angel Daniel with eloquence and Nithaia with spiritual wisdom. So it's really interesting that there is a challenge that's coming up and it's going to affect you, obviously, but it's going to affect one person who you are loyal to. And you get to make the choice whether or not you maintain that loyalty. Now, I'm not going to say one way or another because it's a general reading and, horses for courses. Each individual case is its own. But it may well be that the best thing for you to do is to stick steadfastly to that loyalty. Or the absolute opposite of the hell am I doing being loyal to this person for, or this thing, or this idea. Either way, it's all or nothing. There's no wishy-washiness about it. There is, you're either 100% with or 100% no with anymore, thank you. But in this circumstance, you are going to ask for help. You're going to have to ask for help. You are advised to ask for help. When you are not understanding what's going on around you, that lack of comprehension is being given to you as a gift to put you into the position to encourage you to ask for help, because that asking for help from whoever or whatever opens some real doors for you. This challenge, as much as it's a challenge, therefore it's going to look horrible. This challenge is a gift for you. And I do get the feeling that, for some people, you know what I was saying about loyalties? Thinking back to some of the readings that I have given you, Leo, for some people, it might be the final nail in the coffin. And just go, right, yeah, no, I'm not playing this game anymore. Thank you very much. For other people, this challenge may actually be a really welcome distraction to get away from all that stuff that I was picking up in the other readings. And of course, for other Leos who don't know what I'm talking about because I've not seen my own readings for Leos, yeah, don't worry about it. You either have been through it or you haven't. So let's have a look what the tarot have got to say. Yes. God, could you get any more? There is a dragon that you are needing to fight, and you are needing assistance to fight this. And I think you will be fighting this dragon with words rather than... and it's almost as if you are bringing an older wisdom into play here. Whether that means older as in several centuries, or whether that means older as in just from the 60s or the 70s, who knows? But if you ask for assistance, this is going to open doors for you. You have to choose what burden you are coming in for. But what the important choice is that sense of who am I loyal to in this challenge. And as I say, the answer is either completely walk away or completely stand with them 100%. There's no middle ground here. But you are going to be confused, you're going to have a lack of clarity, you're going to have slow progress, and the only thing that will bring balance into this situation is opening up some help, which enables you to shift some dreams out the way that are actually no good for you, that enables you to cast aside some... Well, I was tempted initially, it's Six of Cups reversed, so I was tempted to say bad memories, but no. Situations that have age, that you may still be in, but no longer have any use for you, any sense of development. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's really quick. I was hoping to make it longer than that. My apologies, Leo. But yeah, there's... whether you stick with that loyalty or you remove that loyalty, there is a burden. 10 of Wands here. And this challenge, it's not going to be, oh, goody, another challenge. It's going to be the hell do I do now? Why is this even happening? What am I doing? Why? You know, there's... But when you get to that point, that's the time where you need to ask for help, and the help will be there. And I'm not doing well, I might be doing a wishy-washy ask spirit for help, you know, and because angels can't help you unless you actually ask them, you know, that they need your permission. But no, I'm thinking it's far more real people. This sounds awful. I'm not saying angels are not real people, but people here incarnate in the 3D, sort of people who you can go out and like touch, you know, not that you should, COVID, but you know, people that are incarnate here at the moment, those are the places to ask. And I assume the topic of whatever this challenge is will point out to you who you know, who these people are that you need to ask. But what I do feel with these light codes is that sense of acting, this confusion is there to bring in wisdom. It's bringing in delay, yes, but it's bringing in wisdom. It's making you question things. And I rather feel that it's opening a door for you. So whoever you ask for help from is quite possibly a stranger. So one would assume some form of authority, some form of advisory service or what have you, because it's opening doors for you. And I can't tell you what those doors are. I just know that they will help bring your ships home. So really ask for help from somebody who you know knows things about this stuff that you know nothing about, and who you either only know vaguely or don't know at all. Because if you know them really well, yeah, what doors are they opening? Because you know those doors already. So there's that sense of stranger. No, stranger, I don't mean as in, oh, stranger danger. No, I mean more as in somebody new. Somebody who has the connections that are going to open something up for you. And that's as much as I can tell you, because that's as much as I can see here. So there will be, if I get time, Full Moon Gods at Play readings coming out, Leo. Plus I'll be doing a show with astrologer David Fisher about the astrology of the lunar eclipse. I'm going to stop recording today and then go and work on the chart with my meager skills. But then again, you don't have to listen to me. You get to listen to David, who knows what he's talking about. Yeah, there might be a live stream Saturday night. I don't know. Keep an eye on my channel. In the meantime, good luck with this. It's going to seem like a nightmare, but it's not. It's really, really not. And I find that quite comforting. Okay. Cheers. Oh, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And now, cheers.